Can Nightsisters really beat Jabba? Or is that just a Talzin tale? Oh man, that sounded way better in my head. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today we're going to talk about how to beat Jabba in 3v3 GAC. And it's something a lot of people have asked for. So I'll show you guys how to do it. It's not 100%. I'm just going to make sure you understand that first. I'm even going to show you a failure and kind of what it looks like, what to expect. So first, I do want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I couldn't do this without you. I really, really couldn't. And if you want to support this channel for free, folks, all you got to do is hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment. Let's mount that algorithm together, shall we? Unless you prefer to do it in the privacy of your own home, in which case that's also extremely acceptable. Now, the teams here, should you choose to accept them, there's really only two options that I've seen that work. First, with correct modding, this has a higher win percentage. It's easier to pull off. You use Asajj. You don't necessarily need her Omicron. You do need the Omicron on Merrin. Now, I don't have a screen that shows you that. You need to know, though, that half of the examples I show you are not using the Asajj Omicron. It can't hurt, but you don't need it. You do absolutely 100% need the Omicron for Merrin. You also need all of the Zetas except for Asajj's leadership, which you don't need, obviously. With incorrect modding, you definitely want the Zeta on Old Daka, and Old Daka is just kind of a just in case measure because your Merrin is just gonna get wrecked. So let me show you the modding and then we'll go into the actual counter and how to do it. So Mother Talzin, first off, okay, so here's the whole principle. We're facing Jabba. He's throwing grenades. So is Boosh, and those thermals do a lot of damage. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that, first off, thermals do percent health damage, which that a lot of people do understand that. But then it's a very strange thing. It's a little bit like your own character is attacking itself, in the sense that the damage is modified by how much crit damage the character has who has the thermals. So if you have a ton of crit damage, then you're gonna explode harder. Like the damage that is done by the thermals is more bigger. All right, so as strange and counterintuitive as the modding goes, you want Talzin and Asajj to die as soon as possible while Merrin lives. I'll show you guys that in a minute, but that's the strategy. Asajj and Talzin need to die, and to accomplish that, you want things that will help further your cause toward that. So percent health damage is going to hurt you if you have more health, right? So give Talzin lots of health, give her a crit damage set, and a crit damage triangle. All right, and that's the goal. That's really all you need. Is this ideal for other counters? Not really, but you're not necessarily going to be using this team a lot anyways, at least in the end game, if you have something that's going to kill Jabba. Now, Asajj Ventress is very similar. I think I have a health or a speed arrow on her. You could go with health. I don't really care. Crit damage. I know I have defense set mods on here. I'm sorry, I just I took the screenshot, but you could probably do better with a health set or something. That the defense set is probably not ideal. This works just fine with that, though. The big thing is you just want health, offense, crit damage, all of that stuff. The same stuff that's going to kill her off, right? Finally, we have Merrin, who is the one who survives. Hopefully, and because you don't want her to blow up, you want a lot of tenacity so that they can't actually apply thermals to you, and you want a lot of protection so when they do percent health damage, it's a small percent of your total health. You want lots of protection, not health. So like if you're rolling a lot of health on your mods, you might need to find a new mod. Lots and lots of protection on Merrin. And honestly, guys, a lot of people throw speed on her. I've seen it doesn't make much sense. You really just want to give her no speed at all. You can see I have some speed on mine, so I'm a hypocrite, but her kit is such that her speed matters 0. It really has no impact at all. And so anyways, that's the modding. Let me show you how the actual fights go. So I'm going to show you the first 2 are with my main account, and this was done just a couple days ago, a couple matches ago, I think matches 2 and 3, and then we'll show you my alt, which does the same, just with Relic 3 characters, and way worse modding, and no Asajj Omicron. So watch what we're doing. So that they're going to go first, and we don't like them throwing at Merrin, but you see how she's not getting thermals, even as Asajj did get thermals. All right. Though they're kind of focusing Merrin down, and that's really something you want to avoid. Your preference here is to just have Talzin and Asajj die. You want Talzin to die first. So then as you continue to summon her with Merrin, you're able to get Asajj a little bit buffed. So anyways, you're also, the other goal is to just stick them with a lot of plague, and they die from plague, basically. So okay, so Merrin's gone, or Asajj is gone. Now you got to be careful. So we're using Mother Talzin's lead to when we use a basic, it summons 1 dead Nightsister, and when someone dies, or when someone revives and then dies again, it gives Merrin 100% turn meter. So she just continues to go and go and go and go, and they don't take a turn. You got to be careful though, because the Mother Talzin Zeta on her lead gives you the ability to, when you summon someone and when they're dead, so every time Merrin does a basic, one of those 2 is going to come back to life for a minute, assist her, and die again. When they assist and the attacks from either Merrin and the person who's assisting kills something, that character revives, and you don't want them to revive until the very, very, very end. And so you got to be really careful here, because pretty soon, eventually, we're going to use our second special to kind of make Plague kill Bosk and Boosh, and her pet. So you can see every time we do a basic, we're able to call someone to assist, but we don't want them to assist and kill Chrysantin. So we want to get him to a pretty low level. You can see this is a good Chrysantin, Relic 8 with an Omicron, pretty strong, but we don't want to kill him with assists. So are we gonna like risk it one more time? Okay. And now he's about to die. He's about to take a turn as well. You can see his turn meter. So we're gonna use that second special. Okay, we risked it one more time. All right, so he's almost dead. He has enough stacks of plague that he'll die once he takes a turn. Okay, so he died of sadness. Boosh gets a turn and then dies because she had so much plague. Chrysantin, of course, is revived because of Jabba. Now, we're getting a bunch of stacks on Chrysantin here, because if he ever takes another turn, we just want him to die of sadness. But now we can just target Jabba and just do basics, and you can see every time you need both of your characters, your fellow characters dead in order to have this work, but you get an endless loop. So just auto basic here. You're doing passive damage to Chrysantin here, so he dies without reviving, and now you can see we're just gonna fast forward, hit auto basic, and we've got over 2 minutes. There's not a datacron that stops this. Sometimes there are datacrons that stop this, and you can't use this counter for a while, or people, depending on if they apply that Omicron or that datacron or whatever. But anyways, someone revives at the very end, and you get a 62 instead of a 61. So you still do drop some banners, but okay, this is another one on my main account. This one doesn't have the Omicron on Chrysantin, so he's not quite as resilient, but Talzin did die immediately, which is wonderful. Yay. Yay for her death as early as possible, I guess. So, anyways, every time Talzin is called to assist, it ramps Asajj, so she does more damage when she assists once she dies. So now I'm trying to figure out, like, Chrysanthemum doesn't have very much turn meter here at all. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, we want to kill him with a non-assist attack from Talzin, which we managed to do there. And then, okay, so sometimes Asajj lives longer than she kind of should, and that's fine because eventually she'll get a bunch of thermals. But without both of your Nightsister friends dying, you're not going to get a perfect turn meter loop, and so she does need to die, which is why you really want a lot of good modding on Asajj and Talzin. So keep going. He is taunting there, so we wanted to get rid of the taunt, and eventually when he takes a turn, he'll die. And then I just do the AoE with Asajj sometimes because that gives defense down to Jabba, and it doesn't heal Asajj as much. Okay, and now she died because of thermals, and you're good to go. Boom. Okay, so now we're going to go with my smaller account, all right? They're all Relic 3, and I think this was really scary. This was the first match of the week, and I had just actually failed with my main account, so I was like, I don't know if it even works this season or not. Sometimes you just have to see in GAC, but, I mean, it's been working for like half a year at this point. And so Merrin's almost dead, and she doesn't have much health or protection. She's gonna die if she gets another thermal. So just heal with Asajj if you can. I went into stealth with Merrin just to get rid of those thermals, so she could heal and all of that stuff. And now it's back to the same strategy. And wow, early death for Asajj. Now don't just hit auto basic once they're gone, because you need to time things out, right? So we're still waiting. We're waiting for... so Boush has a ton of stacks. She will die next time she takes a turn, but she doesn't have much turn meter. So I did decide to kind of hand them the turn here. And there we go. So she did get a turn and she died. There's always a small risk that they'll just like run away with it, because if she doesn't die from sadness, then you can have something bad happen, obviously, because they're gonna take turns, and you're not gonna be able to regain that turn meter right away. So you got to be pretty certain. But I mean, at this point, Chrysanthemum's almost dead, and there we go. Just hit that auto basic and fast forward our way through it. It's not too bad, I think, in my opinion. It takes a while. So this Merrin is Relic 3. So I mean, getting all the way through Relic 8 Jabba, it just takes a while. You know, eventually you can do it. If you want it to be more consistent or faster at least, then you just take Merrin up in relics, basically. You can't really change the modding that much. Okay, here's a fun thing. Sometimes I move my face in GAC and then forget to move that face picture until the middle. So in about 20 seconds, my face will reappear. But you can just imagine what's happening with Boush. You can see the health bars and everything. So that was fairly foolish of me. And eventually chat yelled at me. You can see though that they already killed Asajj, and now they're focusing down Talzin, which is wonderful. My modding on this account is significantly worse than my main accounts, just because I don't have as many tenacity mods for Merrin and 6E mods and everything. Oh, there we go. There it is. So still working on Chrysanthemum here because he's taunting, and this is scary, because he's got a lot of stacks there, but we can't get rid... Like, Boush is not about to take turn, and Boush does not have that many stacks of Plague, so it took a while to think about it. Okay, so we killed him. He actually, I think he had a Datacron, yeah, that allows tank revive, so this is a scary moment here, because they just get a lot of turns. You see how they got a lot of turns on Merrin before she got another turn? Okay, so we've kind of reset. Now, hopefully we're going to passively add stacks to Boush. I guess I should also point out, folks, sometimes you need to pay attention to how much potency you have on Merrin versus how much potency Chrysanthemum has, because sometimes rarely they'll have so much tenacity that Merrin just can't actually get any purchase on Chrysanthemum and can't get any stacks, and that spells certain doom for you. So you do need some some potency. Sometimes Datacrons can help you. Sometimes your own. I mean, sometimes you just lose, though, depending. I mean, they might have a Datacron that gives their own Chrysanthemum a bunch of tenacity as well. So that is one way to kind of stop this. If you want to just super load your Chrysanthemum with tenacity, sometimes it might stop someone who's kind of been sloppy with potency on their Nightsisters. So anyways, we got the kill. Now I'm going to show you guys the fail. But this is my first attempt this week. And watch how quickly, like, the Boosh was modded to have a lot of offense. And so they killed Asajj right away. That was pretty awesome. And then they had a Datacron that could stun Merrin, which wasn't cool. But that's not the end of the world. That happens sometimes. That doesn't really stop this counter too much. The problem being, then they kind of focus pretty hard on Merrin. And the damage was just enough to kill her. So we lost. And anyways, that's it, folks. I will just leave you on the thought that people ask, okay, so why do you suggest Daka here? And this is just a re-roll of the footage you guys just watched. The reason you would want Daka on the team is because your Merrin isn't modded in a way that protects her from thermal detonators, and therefore she gets killed super easily, because a lot of times people mod her for damage, or they mod her for health or whatever. She dies easily. Daka's there to revive her again, and that's it. Like, you have one chance to revive her. You get like a redo, so to speak, but then Daka doesn't die as easily, and she doesn't do as much damage once you're resummoning her, and it's not nearly as consistent in my experience. I've done it before. That's what I used to do on this account. It's not nearly as high percentage as if you just hurry up, and as long as they have an equal distribution of damage to Asajj and Mother Talzin, then your Merrin's going to outlive them, and then eventually you're going to be fine. So Daka can work. If you want to try this in 5s, it is even more dicey, because they get a lot more turns and they get a lot more damage out, and they can just totally take your Merrin out. It can work to put Zombie on your team in that case, and then you kill everyone except for Jabba. Usually Zombie makes it so that you can't win, because you have to have a solo, just a single Merrin there. For some reason, Zombie makes it bugged so that even though you're constantly summoning someone, it still gives them turn meter for some reason. So Zombie is out if you want to win, but if you want to just kill the ads, Zombie works well there. And you can either add a 4th character, like you can add Daka to it or not. It's not as consistent either, frankly. You can try it though. Let me know what your thoughts are. And that's the quick and dirty of it, folks. Don't expect to win every time, but if you get the modding right, and if you get the kind of understanding of the mechanics correctly, then you're gonna be fine-ish. You're gonna win sometimes, usually. So anyways, folks, that's it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails. Take care, folks.